Hi, I'm Ron from POC Culture.
Hi,
Sharon, how are
Ron.
you?
I'm good, thank you. Pleasure to be talking to you today. Really excited. We've got everybody coming down to see the film in London. So it's like, let's get this going, man. Yeah, I'm really excited for the fans. Really excited.
Yeah, it's your time. I mean, to have the screening ready. Like, what are the emotions right now for you? Like, do you have excited jitters? Like, what are you feeling?
I think it's a combination because the red carpet is quite complicated. We have to talk to people pre-watching, but I think the for me it's meeting the fans outside, which is the exciting bit, and also coming out and hearing, reading what people have got to say once they've seen it. I think London being the center of some sort of universe, it's nice that it can happen here as well. Because for me, I'm on home turf, so it's lovely to hear what because I know there are fans all over this world who watch the John Wick franchise and are chomping at the bit to see Ballerina because it is now going to be the next installment of that world, and a world that allows us to see everything that we've seen so far, but from a different perspective, which is what I think the fans are going to love.
Yeah, and I'm definitely excited about that because John Wick is one of the most organic blockbuster franchises. Like, it's not as if there was, oh, we have to do 5 films. Each film, it just, I felt like gained momentum. And for
Yes.
you, you're obviously a veteran of blockbuster franchises between Star Wars, Alien, Dune. I mean, you could name it.
Wow.
How much fun is it for you to enter like that world where there is this massive backstory of a world and for you to play in a sandbox like that?
I actually love it. I think the first time I started to do that sort of thing, I found it, it's a little bit, it's a dream, but it's also, it can be daunting in a sense that, there are rules, there are things that fans definitely know about that if you falter in any which way, they're going to pull you up on it. So the pressure with coming to this world for me was, getting the fighting right, getting the guns and the technique of how weapons work. So, and fortunately, the team here, they're so passionate about it. They totally took me aside and helped me on. I had days of training of movement and stuff. So even though you don't see Nogi fight, I know Nogi can fight now because I've put the work in, which is great. So yeah, it's I love it because you're sort of stepping in and you can just concentrate on the character. It's not about trying to invent everything. It's lovely to just step in and get on with it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad to hear Nogi can fight. In the John Wick world, I just assume literally anyone can fight.
It's
Like,
true.
person walking down the street, babysitter, doesn't matter. Everyone
Poof.
can fight.
Yeah. So true, so true. Expect anything from anyone. It's true. That's what I love about it. There are always surprises and always pleasant or hysterical or very humorous. That's the joy of being in this world. They don't take it all seriously. There's joy to be fun to be had within all the
Yes,
action.
that's right. I think that's so key. There is that fun, and the fans really enjoy that ride. Um,
Mm,
you have a extensive theater background, and I always think it's so interesting to talk with those like yourself who have that theater experience
mm.
because so for you, you really are able to exude like strength and presence whenever you're on screen. Do you feel like that live theater experience helps you in that role, in these
I think
roles?
I think my theatre experience has definitely helped in a sense of multiple characters, being able to one day play a sad, dowdy person, and then in a second later I could be an emperor or I could be a princess. Or I think there's the beauty of theatre is we have to navigate many different characters sometimes in 5 minutes, let alone one play. And so I've been fortunate enough to work up and down the country and across the world being in theatrical performances. Yes, it does help. And I think it brings a certain level of, sometimes we can be very big, but the joy of being on screen to be able to turn that down, but have that concentrated energy is something that I like to bring to the space. So yeah, I think there are words where there are spaces where the two collide, and I find it helpful, definitely.
Yeah, I think it really comes through on screen. Really cool thing about this is, you have this John Wick world, but it's a little bit from a different lens, like you mentioned. From the female perspective, you have all these, incredibly strong and awesome women like yourself. How much fun was it to bring that twist into the John Wick world, which in the past has been pretty male dominated, and now we get to really expand that perspective?
It's funny you say that. I see where you're coming from with that. Yes, definitely male heavy, but the beautiful thing about this franchise is when they've had women in there, they've always been strong and tough. They've never been like your stereotypical waif like, which we're done with that. It's time to. I think these guys have been ahead of the game for a long time, which is one of the reasons why I was like, yeah, I'll jump in and play on this boat. So it's here with Ballerina being an extension of the John Wick world. It is definitely part of the world. It's not a different entity. It's just another step in us pulling out from. We've seen John's side of it. Now we're seeing the Ballerina side of it. They've always been there. And as anybody who's a fan will know, you go back and you'll see that Ballerina on stage when John's talking to the director and you start piecing it together. Ballerina's always been there. It's just that now is her time. So it's
Yes.
and boy does she take it, and she runs with this. She really does run with this. This Ana the Armas, what? She is no joke. No joke. She's amazing. I salute her. I really do, because she and the fans are gonna love her. If they haven't already fallen in love with her with the commercials and advertising that we've had so far, it's been everybody's just had wonderful things to say about her, and quite rightly so, because she carries this film with such excellence and skill. It's not just about the physicality and the action fights as alone, which she just nails. It's also about her acting and what's going on in here. And you see it. You see the devastation, you see the grief that she's going through, you see the fight to decide who am I going to become. It's all there, and it's gorgeous, really luscious work. So
Wow. Amazing. Well, if people weren't hyped, they're going to be hyped after hearing you talk about that.
yeah, come
Congratulations,
on.
Sharon. Great chatting with you.
Thank you. You too. All the best. Thank you.
Hi, David. I'm Ron from POC Culture. How are you?
I'm good, Ron. How are you?
Great. Before I get into the thick of Ballerina, I wanted to share one of the favorite things that I've seen of you was a promo that you did for Umbrella Academy, where you invited Justin H. Min, who I also really love, to your parents' home in La Puente,
Oh,
and share, their food and all that. I actually grew up near La Puente in El Monte, and so that was like really cool. How cool is it for you to be able to like use these projects of yours and just share, your family, your culture, your background?
oh, it means a lot, man. It means a lot. By the way, I have family in El Monte, so I know that I know Garvey, I know that whole area, very well. But it means a lot. It's the ability to sort of introduce a world that I never knew about, and obviously now that I know, my family doesn't know about. So being able to bring those two worlds together is a real it's sort of a blessing because I'm getting to meet so many people from all over the world, and then I can bring them to my house, and you realize that like everything can sort of come together. There's no like two separate entities when it comes to professional and personal. And that's sort of what I want to do. And thankfully my parents now have seen, some sort of safety security within my own business and what I do, that it allows them to just sort of relax and just be like, oh my God, like all of these things that are happening to you is it's marvelous. But also, they keep me humble, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's all what it's all about, right? Sharing each other's stories and backgrounds, family. I thought that was really great. And I love in this project in Ballerina how like the John Wick universe is expanding, and we have cast members like yourself, from Mexico, Spain, South America, whatever. I think it's just so exciting. When you got cast in this film, what was your first thought? I understand you're a pretty big fan of John Wick franchise as it is.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I was stoked. I just knew that I needed to start training immediately, and so they did. They flew me to Budapest, and I was there for a little over a month training until we started shooting. And I just try to make sure that I squeezed as many hours as I could in the gym, working with the fight coordinators and the stunt performers and the stunt doubles to just make sure that when we got to set, we could play and we could come up with like new ways of showing a different move and you know how would it sell better on this angle than that angle and what's the most we can fight without cutting the scene where it could just be like a one take. And so all of those things was the reason why I wanted to, you know, be a part of this universe.
Yeah, and you get some action in this film. I think the 8711 team is like just unparalleled in terms of what they're able to do. You talked about the training and then the sequences. Like, what was the hardest part for you? And was there anything that was like unexpected, like you didn't realize it would quite be that challenging?
Well, I think I think one of the hardest parts was, you know, you train, and you know, like for example, in Umbrella, like everything was like training and everything was set. The sets were made. You practice within the construct of even like inches. So you knew that I had this amount of space to kick to do this. So you sort of just said there's a safety net behind what you're doing. When you were we were shooting here, we were rehearsing. We show up to set. We're like, okay, by the way, we're gonna change this, but also would you feel okay with having pink smoke all over the spot? And it's like, yeah, sure. And I didn't think twice that this pink smoke was going to blind me. So I couldn't see anything. So that was so, I was so nervous because I was like, you can't backtrack now. We've already shot like moments where I'm already throwing. So we've already shot like 3 hours of me grabbing the things and like fighting with at certain moments. So now we're in the thick of it, like literally in the thick of smoke having these massive fights. And I'm just like, I can't back out now. Now I really have to figure out how I'm going to fight now. And there was some moments of like doubt of, am I going to be able to get through this? And thankfully, because of everyone and, you know, being able to sort of, you know, lean on these performers that it ended up working. And if anything, it made it even more uncomfortable, you know, as a viewer, at least when I saw it.
I love that. I think it's uncomfortable for you, the benefit for us, of course.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I've heard you talk in other interviews about how, like, it's obviously never the fun part for talent like yourself to have to do the press tours, like the whirlwind hours and all of that. But it's almost like one of your colleagues once told you, like, this is actually what you get paid for,
Yeah.
and the work itself is something you would do. And I'm just curious, like, obviously for this, you've been, I assume there's like such an international bent to it, to the press tour. Like, has that added like an extra flavor of fun for you to be able to touch international audiences?
Yeah, I mean, I would act for free, right? Obviously, thankfully, I have agents and managers that make sure that doesn't happen. That's one, right? But in the other aspect is like I do want people to see it, you know? And what better way to do it than to actually be able to connect with people like you and everyone else around the world to be able to showcase the good faith that one has and what they've done to be able to allow people to be like, hey, we made this with the best intentions and with the biggest hearts and with hopefully the most, you know, pulsating excitement to allow people to kind of get immersed in this whole thing. And so I've actually come around to a space where this is just part of the entire atmosphere of what it is to make films.
Yeah. Well, it's a treat for me to be able to chat with you, and I know you have fans from all over the world. So thank you for taking the time, and looking forward to seeing you on the next project.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man.
Great chatting with you.